Are neutral colors really necessary for today's kitchens? Well, we're gonna have a little fun with this today. Neutral colors are white, black, and gray, right? Why? Because they have no color. So I'm almost tempted not even use the term color. Black absorbs all color, right? White reflects all color, so there's no color that's absorbed. And then gray is simply a shade or tint of black and white, right? But there's no color. So the problem is, people always want to ask in planning a kitchen, will black work? Well, the answer is yes. Will white go with anything? The answer is absolutely. Can I put that stainless steel fridge in with this color palette? Well, if it's a true stainless steel, then yes. If it's not a true stainless steel, like some stainless steel might have like a nickel, it might be a little bit warmer. Or stainless steel is basically gray, right? And so the challenge with it is stainless steel was heavily introduced maybe 5 years into my career. And before that, we were dealing with the white, this is talking appliances, we were dealing with the white, black, almond, and there was a few other departing colors that were going out from the 80s and 90s. They go with everything. That's the problem. They're too easy to work with. So it doesn't take much talent to say, let's go ahead and throw black appliances in there. Let's do, a gray or grayish paint on the wall. Let's put white painted cabinets, which of course has been the most popular cabinet color in the United States for running close to 100 years now. So if you're going to go with, white cabinets, maybe you're going to go with a white and black checkered flooring tile. Maybe you're going to go for a gray or maybe a slightly off-colored gray. I'll come back to that in a second. Walls. By the time you're done with it, the space is neutral, right? It's bland and it's not much interest, right? But what happens when you say, okay, I want to throw some color in there. So how about we paint the walls a tomato color, right? Well, suddenly you're putting some adventure into the project, right? My challenge to you in thinking about color is a couple things. So number one, it does take some talent, some consideration, and some thought. Artificial intelligence might help you with that, by the way. In fact, I know it could help you with that. So you don't have to hire a designer if you don't want to, but in my opinion, having another human give you some perspective on whether or not those green cabinets, what other colors would go together, especially a professional who has been doing this a long time and has worked with many projects. A lot of factors that come into color is the time of day, right? Aging, the amount of light, your mood, all those factors. I have another video that'll put a link in this one about how to choose colors for your kitchen. Mainly today, I'm just trying to help you understand about the neutrals and the challenge of neutrals and how to get away from neutrals, okay? So one of my best tips in choosing color is this. Find one color that you absolutely love. Now, for some of you, this might be finding this on social media or on a TV program or in a printed, publication. Maybe you fall in love with some blue cabinets, which is becoming popular. So maybe you say, oh, I love those blue cabinets in this magazine. Or I was on Instagram and I love this light green that they've got for the paint on the walls. Start with one color that you know for sure you want. Then from there, it drops the amount of options you work with by so many. Some of my clients, which some of you might be the case, will come and they'll look at this fan deck, they'll look at the options out there and look at almost like this fan deck and see that there's thousands. Once you have that one color in mind, then you can build everything else around that. So if that color is for your cabinets, great. Now let's look at countertops that coordinate with those cabinets. Okay. Others, you might just fall in love with the color. You find a color that you love. Maybe you've seen it on a swatch. Others, you just like it on the fan deck, and that's fine too. But let whoever's helping you or you yourself do that. Then what I recommend is to pick 3 different color palettes that match with that color, being your preference for whatever that material might be. Maybe it's your flooring. Maybe you fell in love with a certain flooring at a parade of homes or at a model home or at your friend's home. but you don't want the rest of the color options that was there. You want to make it your own. So the thing about neutral colors is they're simply too easy. And the problem with them is they don't go away, right? If you want 80% of the people that walk into your home to like it okay, to think it looks okay, maybe your lighting gives it some character, maybe the architectural interest of the space, maybe there's dominant, large hood that has a lot of interest, but again, it's all done with neutral colors, and that's just fine. But just be aware as far as color. Color, in my opinion, is one of the quickest ways to strike emotion. Years ago, I had a client come to me and say, I want lime green cabinets. Now, I had been in the industry just under 10 years at that point. And I was like, are you sure you want lime green cabinets? And she said, yes. I said, why don't you take me and point me out to the lime green? I took her to the laminate board, the old laminate countertops board. And though I don't have the laminates here because we hardly ever get requests for laminate, she went to a laminate and it was basically like this color. And she said, okay, I want that color for my cabinets. And I said, well, that's indeed lime green. So let's start picking out the other things. Well, before I had a chance to give color, she says, and I want this color for the countertops, and I want this color for the flooring. Now I said to her, monochromatic, for those of you that are not familiar with monochromatic, it's basically using just different tints or shades of that color. Now, oftentimes it's used with black and white, but you can certainly take and have monochromatic color range in this. For me, it did not feel like she would enjoy the value of her lime green cabinets if everything else was same tints or shades of the same green. So what I suggested to her instead was to go to opposites, complementary colors. So instead what we did was I took and said, okay, if you're going to go with a light green, we want to go with a dark red for your countertops. And so what we did was we said, okay, let's do those two colors together, cabinets, and here's the countertops. And then we picked some flooring that had some veins of the same coloration going through it. I don't remember what we did for the walls, but the picture will show it here. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a fun project, but it turned out great because that's she wanted color, which was a good place, but she also had one really strong color she wanted to start with. So I hope you like it. If you like this, subscribe, please, and I will share with you more experiences, more tips and ideas, and some surprises in the future. Thanks.